Okay, hey everyone. So we want to live free on our dividends with Yieldmax, with ULTY, but how is SpaceX going to affect our plans to live free out of our brokerage accounts? Okay, how's it going to affect our dividends? How's it going to affect our triples and the rest of our high yield plays for that matter? Okay, you can see we earn around 600,000 per year in dividends right now. And Friday we had a decent day. You know, we beat the indexes when you factor in margin. It's not the dollar amount I care about, it's the percentage amount. And performance-wise, you can see it reflects on a year-to-date basis. We're beating the S&P and the NASDAQ. We're up 12% and the NASDAQ's up 10%. We were just up, what was it, 15%, 18%? Whatever the Russell was doing. I think it was 15%, and we were beating all indexes last week. But then we had our pullback. We were beating all the index week before last, and then last week we had that huge pullback, right? But then we got our performance under control because I've been pounding the table on our high yield dividend plays, incorporating it with our triples, with our margin, how to play it safely. You saw my last video how we exited Soxal right before that drop. Okay, see that past video. And so now we have SpaceX coming into play because it's now public and it's going to be a large part of the indexes. So how's it going to affect our margin plans? How's it going to affect ULTY and what we do with it? All right, we're going to discuss that in today's video. You can see my margins around 500,000. It's grown a little bit, and we use our cap gains to really capture more performance off of the lows. Okay, as you can see here on Discord, you know that when you have my e-guides, you have Discord here, free for life. Discord and my number are free for life. And so you can see here, we're up, 85,000. What was it on Thursday? We're up at 85,000. And in the day before that, we were down like 100,000, and then we came back to being only down 0.25 with the indexes. We beat all the indexes, as you can see above. So on down days, we were doing well, yet on up days, we were getting 85,000, and then as you saw on Friday, it was like a decent day, 17,000. Actually, it was much more than this. I was trimming triples as always, and we already reloaded in our triples. All my members know that. Okay, just know that most members have my e-guides, of course, and they can do this for themselves. It's all found here on my website, but they also follow my portfolio, okay, in the membership section on YouTube. Okay, you just go over here to YouTube and you go to memberships, and that's how you can follow my portfolio. All right, this $2.5 million portfolio that's beating the indexes. It was beating all of the indexes, and my members are doing the same. All right, it's great to see my members. My members were doing better than me over the last, recent bull market rally. They're blowing away the Russell. And so there's different ways you can use these strategies. And how's this going to affect my strategy, the SpaceX IPO? Well, Circle has been great. Okay, obviously, Discord, you can access Circle from Discord. Okay, and Circle, a lot of my members have been mentioning, ways to play SpaceX. All right, so we're going to go through that. But the first thing that I want to emphasize to y'all is SpaceX is going to be a big mover. Okay, just for full disclosure, I bought a $4,000 starter position. I haven't alerted anyone of it yet, but I'm telling y'all now. And then as it falls, then I'll size into it, and I will be sharing that with members every step of the way. But ULTY is our main component to pay down our margin debt with. Okay, so we have our dividends of over 500,000. I'd like to have around 600,000 bare minimum with dividends. We've been increasing our dividends over the past couple of days now that the danger's been averted. On Circle, I was mentioning everything's on the 50. Many members were mentioning it too. Joe, Chow, shout out to y'all, hats off to y'all. And also just this is what I do. The Dow is near the 50. You see IWM near the 50, and SPY tag the 50, and QQ tag the 50. So this is our chance to get long, and then we're always long, right? But this was our chance to reload, and so that's how we got 85,000 on that day, actually, when I posted this on Circle. And that the big thing that I'm trying to keep in mind right now is as we build out more income, I'm using things like ULTY. I mean, ULTY has always been about 10% for me, and I've always kept it at around 10%. I just keep reloading in that as well. But how does this SpaceX deal, this IPO, affect ULTY? Well, for one, we don't know if SpaceX is going to go into ULTY, okay? We don't need to discuss that. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But that's not really my angle here, okay, for why it affects ULTY. My angle for this video and why my videos are so different than anyone else on YouTube is because we're really living out of our accounts. So are my members. If you're not living free out of your brokerage account, well, then many of my members are just using it to power up their W-2s, their 9-to-5s, using this margin, using my strategies. And we have to know that, yes, it could go into ULTY, but that's again, not important. My angle is how it's going to be a big part of the indexes as a whole. It should be SpaceX, right? It should be, with it being trillions in market cap, it should be potentially a top 10 holding in the S&P and the NASDAQ. So this could really affect not only the holdings of, let's say, an ULTY, but that's not my focus. My focus is how it's going to affect our index strategy, okay? Because we use indexing, okay? And what if SpaceX goes into ULTY, all right? So ULTY, you know that this is my favorite vehicle to use with Yieldmax. This is my largest vehicle because, look, on the website, you can see ULTY is beating the indexes, okay? I mean, I had someone say in my last, one of my last shorts, Yieldmax is lying about their performance. Look, this is their performance. Here's ULTY, 8.5% since inception. Look over the past month, 6%. 6 months, 10.7. So year to date, 11.55. That beats the S&P. All right, and I'm so glad Yieldmax has finally updated this. And then the only response that that person could give me was, oh, well, they're just lying. Because they said, well, why is ULTY so terrible, right? That's what I got, on that video, of course. I'm explaining erosion and how erosion's more of a myth to newcomers. But again, you go factor back in dividends and you have that return that you see on the website. So it's really important that we lay this out as a foundation to what I'm saying in the video, okay? And so with ULTY, it falls hard in a down market, as we know, so you have to be careful with it. And it has 50% maintenance. So if I were to put too much in this, I would suck up too much of my equity, and then that hinders our plans to live free. All right. And so I'm going to get to SpaceX, but it's important to note that I'm not really looking at how to play SpaceX. Like I told you already, I made a starter position and I initiated a starter position in SpaceX, but this is to discuss how it's going to affect the rest of our account because it's going to be a big part of the indexes, and our available withdrawal, as you can see here, at 630. And I want to keep this as high as possible. And after an IPO like SpaceX, a lot of times it drops, historically speaking, and then the market drops. A lot of people are preparing for that. And when the lockup period ends in about 6 months, something like that, it doesn't matter. The market's always forward looking to me. So, but if SpaceX falls after its IPO and then that drags down the indexes, well, that's going to hurt our index strategy, okay? And it's very important to know what we're invested in our account. See, this week we got a lot mostly out of the NASDAQ. I was even getting out of the S&P at times because tech is a huge part of the S&P. And so when the NASDAQ is falling and the S&P is falling, it makes your account fall significantly if you're so tied into these high yield funds by Yieldmax and Roundhill and Defiance. And again, ULTY, first off the bat, it has 50% maintenance. And so if you keep going heavy into this and things like it, you're going to fall hard in a down market and it's going to suck up your equity, making your flexibility next to zero, okay? And that's when you get in trouble. And so you have to watch your margin and watch your maintenance, okay? It's not really about watching your margin, it's about watching your maintenance, okay? This margin level, I don't care about it because my dividends pay it back, but your maintenance and your equity is what's so important to not only living free out of your brokerage account, but having the flexibility to keep reloading for more growth going forward, okay? ULTY, I keep it at a certain percentage of my portfolio so that it can't hurt me too much. But how does it affect our triples? Well, if the market is falling and SpaceX is a big part of the indexes, obviously our triples are going to see more volatility, okay? And so we need to be aware of this, okay? So what I've been doing with my members, members who follow my portfolio, y'all know that I've been getting more into conservative names, okay? Look at the, all the other trades that we've been making. Like while tech was pulling back, our portfolio was in the green. Okay, in so many areas. Okay, for one, we're going to talk about more ways to play SpaceX, but for one, you have to figure out ways to get away from the S&P and NASDAQ right now because it's so tech heavy. When tech is pulling back, when semiconductors are pulling back, which are a huge part of the market, when they're pulling back, it's dragging down the indexes. But the stocks within the indexes, many of the other sectors are green and are going up. Okay, and we've been rotating into these other sectors. I've been mentioning them in my past videos a little bit. And, so that's one way that I'm protecting against SpaceX or whatever could go wrong with tech and SpaceX and the indexes, because it's going to be a large part of the indexes. All right. And so that could affect UPRO. And obviously we always keep UPRO managed at a certain position size. There's a sweet spot to using these triples and the high yield plays, which we talk all about in my e-guides. Okay. Especially volume 7 when it comes to the triples, but it also has 75% maintenance UPRO. So, that's one reason why you have to keep UPRO smaller. Also, it doesn't provide qualifying income to the banks for loans. Some people are saying, why don't I just go all in on triples? I've said this in past videos. First of all, that's too risky. Second of all, you saw it's 75% maintenance. It would suck up so much of your available withdrawal. Okay. Third, you would have no flexibility in a down market. Fourth, they don't pay you in a down market. They don't pay your bills in a down market. And fifth, they don't give you qualifying income to the banks for loans. Okay, we need these dividends to qualify to the banks for loans. All right, and so that's, UPRO always did so well for me. If you go look at a chart of UPRO, 10,000 makes you 300,000 in 10 years on a Morningstar chart, and that's why we love UPRO so much. But my banker said I couldn't qualify for a house with UPRO alone. So we get these dividends, and I was using Cornerstone for the dividends originally because I want Cornerstone with my index strategy, and Cornerstone has the highest yield around, okay? However, Cornerstone is also, if it's the index, SpaceX is also going to affect Cornerstone, okay? So Cornerstone 4-star fund, as you can see here, CRF, 4-star fund, and it moves upper left to right. ULTY's chart and other charts with Yieldmax would look the same on Morningstar. Okay, you see how this chart moved upper left or right with Misty before the correction in MicroStrategy. So Morningstar is the truth. Go look at Morningstar for your true erosion, your true charts. Okay, for anything Yieldmax related, but I went to Cornerstone from UPRO because I needed the dividends. And it had the low maintenance. Cornerstone had 30% maintenance. And again, it had that drip at NAV. So it had a 20% dividend and a 14% profit you get every month on top of the 20% dividend. So it's like, of course I would go for Cornerstone. But I mean, I didn't even use the drip at first with Cornerstone. I was kind of confused. You had to go in there and select it manually and stuff. I didn't really even know what it was when I started this fund in 2020. And now, it's all automatic. You can just go drip Cornerstone on your own, and it drips at the NAV for a 14% gain every month. We're getting 30 to 40% gains, almost 50% gains in 2021. I should have been dripping then, and I wasn't. So many people ask me, can you outperform? Can you still use Cornerstone without the drip? Yeah, I mean, I did in 2020 and 2021, and I got the gains with Cornerstone. That's the key, 20% dividends with the capital gains. It'll go up with the market on a given day. And so the most important thing with Cornerstone, though, is what we always say is always manage it around the position sizes, okay, and around the premium levels, okay. Manage it around these highs and lows, which is what we talk about all the time. This is obviously in my e-guides in volume 4, and this is why we started Discord. It's to give you the Cornerstone rights offering announcement. So you sell at the highs and you buy at the lows. That's why closed-end funds are special, like Cornerstone, okay. But I'm not trying to talk about Cornerstone today, only the implications that SpaceX has with the rest of our portfolio. And Cornerstone is the index. SpaceX will probably be in Cornerstone as a result. But again, with Cornerstone, it's so well diversified, I mainly just try to watch its premium levels and, just play this accordingly, okay? And you really level up in Cornerstone, when the rights offerings are finished, okay? And we give you that alert once again at Discord, okay? Discord is free with my e-guides once again. Any bundle purchase, gold or platinum. So ULTY is potentially going to be more volatile if you put SpaceX into it, but it's diversified. It has protected positions a lot of times on its positions. Correct me if I'm wrong, chat, on ULTY. So not worried about if it's incorporated into ULTY so much as I am that it could be incorporated into the indexes in a large way. And we use indexing here. And, so this could affect our indexing. And so this is why I've been going more into, I've been trying to get out of the Russell, but honestly, the Russell seems to be a good place to be because it has no tech, Mag 10 tech in it. And so it might not have, I'm sure it wouldn't have SpaceX in it. And so the Russell, that's why it's been outperforming everything lately. The Russell, everything besides tech has been going up that I can think of. Okay, look at our defense names. You want to know a true space play that is, I think, potentially better than SpaceX. Okay, would be Lockheed Martin. I mean, that was up for us. We have our leverage vehicles, our doubles and triples, but Lockheed, I mean, it was up. Look at how it's cheap now, but the other day it was up 10% for us, our double, on a given day. You have staples that are rallying like crazy, okay? You have Coca-Cola. All right, I could go on down the list. All these are top companies in the indexes, and these have been rallying. Look at these charts, upward, left to right, when tech was pulling back. And so it looked like the market was pulling back when it wasn't. And so if SpaceX gets thrown into the mix, then it's going to make the market even more volatile on a down day. It's just going to add more to the downside volatility with those other tech names that have been pulling back, especially post-IPO when IPOs typically pull back. All right, so how does it affect our strategy? I'm going away from even the NASDAQ and the S&P in some cases and diversifying away. I'm parking all the excess cash from our triples. We're printing money hand over fist with our triples, and I'm using all the excess cash to buy these blue chip dividend names, okay? A Pepsi, a Coca-Cola, index names, defensive names going up when tech and these others are going down, all right? And of course, our triples, we're just reloading in them constantly, but we're managing the risk constantly as well with the triples. We use it all in unison with high yield dividend plays and even our shorts. All of that, again, is found in my e-guides. And even our shorts, our put options, they're up 1,400%. Was it 1,600% on that one down day last week? And so everything is working in unison together. Okay, it's a total approach, which that's what we do here at my channel. We use options. Both we sell options, we buy options for insurance. We have inverse longs and shorts. Okay, if you want to learn how I hedge, that's all in Volume 5 in particular. But what we do here, it's a total system, okay, to getting income and dividends, income with dividends and capital gains. And so SpaceX can really magnify this volatility, magnify these gains and losses. TJ, hang on, buddy, please. They can really magnify those losses and gains, okay, magnify the volatility. How do we protect against it? My members know, okay, y'all have seen me. We've been rotating into these other areas, other sectors, not just stocks, but other sectors. All right, and all of y'all know who have a badge by our name. And so that's how we're doing this. And I'm going to continue to stay invested in SpaceX, and I'm gonna average into it. But also, members, we're bringing up great ways to play it. Of course, you can go if you have less capital, you can go. With some of these leverage vehicles coming out soon. Shout out to RC, great job. Yes, Justin, RC, all of y'all who have been so vocal in this area. Seagal, people got out of Mars, you're saying, and went into SpaceX. Yeah, you saw how those other ETFs were selling off. Of course, we have ULTY, which has a lot of space plays. But Seagal, once again, good information here on SPCU, bless you, buddy. That's going to be the 2-time SpaceX ETF with Defiance. And also we have great stuff, Chow. We have SPAL and SNK, the 2 times long and short, okay? And so we're going to be playing these accordingly, okay? I'm going to use both the longs and the shorts. It's what I use for everything in my account that I can. That's why we're always kind of getting this outperformance that you see on an up day where we're up 85,000. But on a down day, you see 85,000 right here, which beat the indexes. We're up 3.6. The NASDAQ was up 2.6. Okay. But, on a down day, you can see the NASDAQ was down 0.4 here and we were down 0.25. All right. So, I mean, not every day is that perfect, but you can see generally that's how we do it on a down day. And on an up day, we really outperform because of the way that we set our positions. Okay. All is found in my portfolio videos, membership videos on YouTube. Okay. If you need help doing any of this, living free from 9 to 5, doing what we're doing, supercharging your W-2, email me for my e-guides or go to my website, Unconventional Wealth Ideas, where we're leading the FIRE movement. And again, you can follow along on my portfolio afterwards in YouTube memberships. Okay. So great stuff from the chat, everyone. All right. And let's just see, on Circle. And let's just see what the chat has to say today. If anyone has any questions, let me know. How are you playing SpaceX? All right. Leave them in the comments. Are you going to use these leverage vehicles, longs and shorts? I'm just buying in positions on the way down. That's how I'm playing this so far. And then we'll take what the market gives us this week. All right. I'll see all my members this week. I wanted to go live for y'all on that huge $85,000 up day, but I figured, hey, we need to preserve our energy because you know how active I get on down days and how we really capitalize on down days to level up on each cycle, each bull and bear market cycle. And so we got to preserve our energy. We have to enjoy our dividends some. Okay. We have to enjoy our freedom, enjoy these gains, live life a little bit. Joe's always telling me to do that. I appreciate you, Joe. And then when we have a down market, believe me, I'll be here with y'all. Okay. I was here with y'all. And also for members who are in the $9.99 membership videos, like we have monthly, which is $9.99. Weekly, if you want one weekly video, it's I think that's $35. And then if you want all my videos, it's $50 a month. And for those who are in the $9.99, like they want one video a month because they're more passive, just note that when there's a crazy day in the market, I'll oftentimes go live for all members because I don't want to leave anyone behind. All right. And so when you see certain videos on a crazy day, don't not click it just because you know that you're a monthly member. Okay. Know that I'm here for all of y'all. Okay. When things really get crazy. All right. But usually I just try to, stick to what my members want. Okay. We have different levels of investors here, more passive, more aggressive, some want more income, some want more capital gains. We do it all here and it's all there for you on YouTube memberships, whichever option you like. Hey, Justin, great stuff once again, brother. Moth, Stacy, happy Saturday. DC, Jeremy, hey, Susie, Tom, it's great to see y'all. All right. Darth, good morning. Megs, good to see you, Megs. Justin, let me know if you have any questions, Megs. You have my phone number now, okay? Don't hesitate to reach out. Justin, still at 20%. Way to go, Justin. Way to go, Justin. I mean, that's fantastic, Justin, and that's how you really do it. And I know you're using trailing stops, so props to you on that, Justin. Justin, great job. Hulkman, what's up? Dave, happy Saturday. Makes, how do you access Circle? So makes you just go here to Discord and the link is right here on my portfolio recap page. You just go to Circle right here. All right. That's the premium option that, so many members wanted so they could follow me, and not get drowned out by the discussion at Discord. All right. And Discord's mainly for the Cornerstone rights offering announcement. And then also y'all can discuss Cornerstone strategy there at Discord. But we have so many more strategies that we like to talk about. And, the way to do it, there's a safe way to do it. And so that's why we do it. Members who want to follow me and do it my way, they're at Circle, obviously. Again, in Discord, there's a lot of noise, so, Circle is where you want to follow me personally. Okay. And of course you could just call me, Makes, right? You have my number. Dylan, I've been taking advantage of the recent dips, selling elite puts. Love seeing it reduce my margin. Yep. Love selling the puts too, Dylan. I hope you're enjoying volume 6 for that. And I would have sold more puts recently, but, we're so heavy into the triples right now and other things. That's why we're getting these massive capital gains. it was just hard for me to suck up any more equity at that time. Okay, especially when it got tricky with the indexes, Dylan, where we go with index approaches, we sell puts on the indexes, so it's pretty safe. But when tech as a whole is pulling back, it's dragging down the S&P and the Nasdaq. It's dragging down the Nasdaq by let's say 1%, and then the S&P by about 0.5%, just when tech's pulling back and everything else is rallying, because tech's such a huge part of the S&P. It's really important to understand that relationship. Joe, what's up, brother? Can't stay, but nice talking to you yesterday. Hopefully we can finish the conversation soon. Yeah, absolutely, Joe. I look forward to it, brother. All right. Great stuff. We got to, keep each other, accountable at all times. All of us members, we got to keep each other accountable, and we got to keep cheering each other on, to stay with it, stick with the approach. Okay. Some members like Justin and Joe are letting these triples go more, and not trimming as much like I am, because I have so much more in margin, and I have a little bit larger, like a large account to protect, where, again, a large account to where things have been all hidden in, you would think, well-diversified ETFs, high quality tech, et cetera, Yieldmax and all that, but they all fall when tech falls. And so that's why I'm so conscientious of trimming my triples, because I know that the other stocks are going to fall so hard, the other high yield income plays, that something has to give for me. So I trim those triples. But if you have an outside paycheck, an outside job, you can really just afford to take more risk. But I don't have an outside job, so that's why I'm so protective of my own account. Again, great stuff, Joe. Ed, I follow you, but not an ULTY fan. Share price and distribution continues to fall. Yes, I understand total return is still positive. That's reinvesting every distribution. Ed, not really. Ed, I don't reinvest every distribution. I just drip on dips. I just rebalance on dips. And I think that actually I capture more performance that way. Obviously in an up market, I capture less performance, but in a down market, in a sideways market, I'm capturing more performance that way, Ed. And, I'm managing risk. I'm managing overall drawdowns in the account that way as well, while still increasing income, but in steps on the way down, not every dividend X date. Okay. And so what, the chart falls, but, so do all these other charts, if you just buy low, sell high, you're still getting all those gains off the lows. And then you get days gains off that as your performance. The dividends take some of it back, but then the dividends bring it back on the weekend. So you're getting days gains and dividends with ULTY when you drip on dips, Ed. Okay. Major, good morning, Major. Great to see you, sir. Wooly Bully. Many people misunderstand ULTY. Yes, they do, don't they, Wooly Bully? And, they misunderstand the ability for it to pay down your margin faster, snowball that income, be your main arm to pay down your margin with, so that you can grow your account and go into these other areas like triples, like everything else. But I trim the triples as well to go into these defensive names, these other sectors of the market that are going up when tech is going down. Even if SpaceX is going down, these others are diversifying the account and keeping everything up. David, if you can barely hear me, I'm sorry. I'm yelling. That's why I bend over into my microphone, because I get this comment a lot. I don't know what it is. I would say turn up your volume if that helps, because so many other people say that they can hear me just fine. John, Russell 1000 must add SpaceX within 5 trading days of the IPO. By EOD Thursday, it will be on the Russell books and must be in the NASDAQ 100 within 15 days. Yes, John, it could be in the Russell 1000. It could be in the Russell 3000, or whatever it is. But the main thing I'm focused on is the Russell 2000. And, we'll see how it goes into that. It'd be really odd to see it be in all 3 indexes, but I'm expecting it to at least be in the S&P and the NASDAQ, and the Russell 3000 or whatever it is. Jeannie, your picture in the upper left covers up your trades investments. Can you place the picture in your lower right or not have it at all? There are no trades or investments in these videos, Jeannie. You have to go to my members videos, and then you'll see all of my trades there. Okay, these are more conceptual videos, and they still give, I think, a lot of good stuff. Obviously, these entry points and exit points for some of these stocks like Lockheed, Coca-Cola, McDonald's. I've been pounding the table on so many more. Go see my past videos. But to see the actual live trades every day, those are my members videos. Jeannie, good to see you. Makes, are you watching UFC Freedom 250? No, I'm not, Makes, but I'm definitely watching that finals game tonight. But if I get a chance, I will. GA, Todd, cleaning the new boat and tuned in. A lot of wild theories out there on the SpaceX IPO tanking S&P and things, right, GA? I know, and it was great talking to you, brother. And I'm so happy for you and your new boat. I hope you're living it up for me. All right, I have TJ here, and it's really hard to just get out of the house lately. You know what I mean? And also the market's crazy, but I'm glad the dividends were able to help you get that, and I'm so proud of you, GA. I'm so happy for you, brother. And you make a really good point. Okay. And that's what I'm trying to touch on in today's video. Okay. Really pound the table on, which is how SpaceX and tech can bring down the rest of the market, high yield tech, ULTY, all that stuff. Regardless if SpaceX is in those, ETFs, it's more about how it's in the indexes and how that affects our overall strategy. And I've been letting y'all know how I'm getting around that in these videos. Hey Ramses, what's up? Good to see you, brother. GUG, good morning. Okay, Meg, sounds good. S Capital, good morning. Great to see you. Ramses, thank you for the call the other day. Yeah, of course, I enjoyed it, and I hope you keep me posted on that. On all your updates, and really cool what you do. And I want to talk more about, I'll just leave it vague, more about healthcare. We'll talk about that some other time. I have some ideas and some questions. So many different fields that my members, work in, and you get you just get great information. My members bring great information to the community all the time. You saw like what Seagal and others are bringing on Circle. And on Discord, members are great too. But it's just I learned so much from each and every member. Like I have really special people in this community. I'm so thankful to be with y'all. Great to see you once again, Ramses. Call me anytime, brother. Justin, we'll see the SpaceX leveraged ETFs next week. That's right. Looking forward to that. Jonathan, thanks for the video. Keep up the good work. You're welcome. Jonathan, thank you for the comment. Appreciate that. Smash the like button, y'all. I appreciate that, John. I never say that. Other YouTubers, they do, but we're living a real life here out of our brokerage account. And, that's why I never really say it, and our account and our numbers speak for themselves. Okay. If you need help doing any of this, email me for my e-guides or head to my website, Unconventional Wealth Ideas, where we're leading the FIRE movement. And FIRE stands for Financially Independent, Retire Early. This is how we're getting this outperformance. I'm up 12. The S&P is up 8. The Nasdaq's up 10. But so many of my members are doing much better than that. Justin, 20%, blowing away the Russell. Way to go, brother. All right, I love you all so much. I hope you enjoy this video. Again, if you liked it, click like or subscribe. And there's Blue in the background, by the way, everyone. There's Blue. Shout out to Mark and Violet. Blue stands for Blue Chip. Hope y'all are doing well. Navy for Nav Drip at Cornerstone. She's back there. All right. They're both growing up. They're both puppies. They're growing up so fast, getting along well. Makes, what kind of questions should we ask you on the phone, or do you do it just as well just to get to know each other? Anything you want, Makes. I'm here for you. I'm like your mentor. I'm your friend. I'm your brother. Anything you want, Makes. Okay. All right. I love y'all. Once again, I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye. Way to go, Justin. I was just about to end the stream. Way to go, Justin. 24% with dividends this weekend. Fantastic, brother. Keep killing it. All right. I love y'all so much.